15 smallest countries in the world. But first, thanks Thomas for leaving us your theory in our Places Censored on Google Maps video. Now we might know the truth behind all those strange blurred images. We hope you guys enjoy learning about the smallest countries on Earth. Number 15. Seychelles. The Seychelles is a tiny archipelago country found off the eastern coast of Africa in the Indian Ocean. It was once a colony of Britain, but originally settled by the French. Independence was eventually granted in 1976. The leader at that time, Albert Rene, didn't want the area to become overly dependent on tourism and demanded that the country be set free. This was backed by other African countries and led to a coup d'etat, known as the Seychelles Affair. To this day, Seychelles enjoys its isolation and has a unique, beautiful environment covered in tropical forests. Number 14. Antigua and Barbuda. This independent commonwealth is found where the Atlantic Ocean and Caribbean Sea meet. The majority of the citizens live in the capital of St. John's. In 1943, there were some of the first islands discovered by the Europeans in the Americas, and the name was given by Christopher Columbus. English is the official language here, but you can expect a Caribbean flair to their speech. The small territory they do control has beautiful beaches, colorful buildings, and is a common stopping place for cruise ships, since tourism makes up a large part of their economy. Number 13. Barbados. Many people know this country to be the birthplace of the famous singer Rihanna, as well as their quality rum. It's also the 13th smallest country in the world, with only 166 square miles of land. Also situated in the Caribbean, this country is often vulnerable to hurricanes and tropical storms. Permanent settlers first arrived in 1625 from Great Britain, mostly settling in the capital city of Bridgetown. During its early years, it primarily relied on sugarcane as its main export, and also relied on a large amount of slave labor to increase the profits. This country is much more densely populated than our last one, and has an estimation of 284,644 people living there. Number 12. St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We hope you guys enjoyed the soothing photos from the Caribbean, because that's where quite a few of these small island nations are located. This is found just north of Venezuela. This independent island nation was once a colony of both France and Great Britain and earned their total independence in 1979. The territory swapped flags quite a few times between the two countries in its early years due to combat and treaties. The tiny nation was devastated by a volcanic eruption in 1902, killing 2,000 people and destroying much of its original buildings. You might have seen this island on the big screen when it was featured on Pirates of the Caribbean. The economy here isn't too strong since its independence, and they're hoping for a boost in the tourism market. Number 11. Grenada. This Caribbean island is jam-packed full of history and culture. It gets its nickname the Spice of the Caribbean to promote tourism on the upbeat and adventurous destination. It was also a hotspot for merchants trading exotic spices that were grown there, making it a large exporter of this commodity. The French settled the natural harbor where they founded the capital city of Fort Royal. Then the capital city's name changed in 1763 to St. George. This was due to the Treaty of Paris. In 1983, this island was actually invaded by the US, who was worried about a pro-communist regime starting there. Since then, Grenada has become a popular tourist attraction, especially at the Grand Anse Beach in St. George. Number 10. Malta. Now it's time to venture off to the Mediterranean Sea, where our next one is located. Just south of the island of Sicily is where we'll find the 10th smallest country in the world. For its tiny size of only 122 square miles consisting of 3 islands, it has possibly more history per square inch than any other country. Its former rulers include the Romans, the Moors, the Knights of St. John, the French, and of course, the British. The capital city of Valletta is situated on a strategic harbor that's fortified, and was often sought after to secure trade routes between Europe and North Africa. Coming here, you'll notice a strong influence of its former inhabitants and a unique blend of different cultures only found in Malta. Number 9. The Maldives. Making our way southeast once again to the Indian Ocean, the Maldives are made up of an astonishing 1,200 islands, but only 200 are actually inhabited. Not only is this one of the smallest countries in the world, but it's also the flattest country in the world. You won't need to be a skilled climber to reach its highest peak, with its highest elevation reaching about 7 feet above sea level. Many believe that with the rising sea levels, the Maldives will become flooded and simply disappear. One bad tsunami and you can kiss these islands goodbye. The islands are made up of coral and volcanic stone. The Maldives are famous for the island resorts for people who want to enjoy them while they're still there. Number 8. St. Kitts and Nevis. And just like that, we're back in the Caribbean again with St Kitts and Nevis, located roughly 150 miles east of Puerto Rico. It's known for its beautiful cloud-shrouded mountains and picturesque tropical beaches. The small population of only 54,000 people inhabits both islands, with the capital Basseterre located on the northern side. The dormant volcano, Mount Liamuiga, creates a large crater lake that you see in this photo and is a popular hiking location for extreme adventurers. Number 7. Marshall Islands. This island country is located near the equator, making up 1,156 islands total. Despite the sheer number of islands, it's still currently the 7th smallest nation in the world. It was named after John Marshall, although the natives were of course there much longer. These islands were under firm control by the Japanese until the United States managed a successful invasion in World War II. And during the 1960s, these islands were used as proving grounds for nuclear weapons by the US. In 1952, the first hydrogen bombs were dropped here. America paid over $759 million to the Marshallese in reparations because money solves a lot of issues. Number 6. Liechtenstein. This tiny nation is bordered by Switzerland to the west and Austria to the east, and is tucked away in the Alps. It's also the richest country in the world by GDP per capita. With an unemployment rate of 1.5% and a population of 37,000, it's a tax dodger's dream to live here. Not being a member of the European Union, the residents are not subject to the same tax rates of neighboring countries. This principality is still ruled by an extremely wealthy prince by the name of Hans Adam II, with a net worth of roughly $3.5 billion. The capital city of Vaduz has around 5,000 people, and it's here where you'll find this cathedral. Number 5. San Marino. The tiny state of San Marino is proud to say that they are one of the world's oldest independent states. It's also one of the richest in terms of GDP per capita. Taking up only 24 square miles, it's only the 3rd smallest country in Europe. We'll get to those other two later. The small republic has managed to slither out of many wars, protested the unification of Italy, and won't even join the European Union. Well done, San Marino. It's here you'll also find the beautiful fortress of Guaita on Mount Titano. Number 4. Tuvalu. This tiny nation was originally known as the Ellis Islands and found halfway between Hawaii and Australia in the Pacific Ocean. With a population of only 10,000 people, everyone here is of Polynesian or Micronesian descent. The creation mythology is important to the inhabitants of this country, and they claim a group of spirits raised from the ocean floor, and their ancestors were giants from Samoa. Number 3. Nauru. The smallest island nation in the world is Nauru, located east of Australia. The history behind this country might not be as charming as some of the others, but we're not going to sugarcoat anything. The tiny island nation was exploited for its heavy deposits of phosphate, which is normally used for fertilizer, and enjoyed a steady income during the 1980s. Nowadays, all the phosphate is gone, and the country has a 90% unemployment rate. This country also leads the world in obesity, with roughly 40% of its citizens suffering from diabetes. Number 2. Monaco. On the flip side, Monaco is one of the richest countries in the world, and it certainly enjoys its independence. With many high taxes in the country of France, the rich dodge paying ridiculous amounts of taxes. It's known for its high-class luxury, harbor filled with yachts, and of course, the Monte Carlo casino. Just to be a tourist here, you should probably consider bringing a few stacks of euros with you. Crowds pack the streets for the annual Formula One race, which has taken place since 1951. With many Europeans drawn to the luxury, the beaches, and the bourgeoisie lifestyle, it's become the world's most densely populated country with 37,000 people occupying 499 acres or less than 1 square mile. And number 1, the Vatican City. So the entire Catholic Church isn't enough for the Pope. He gets his own micronation. The Vatican is actually walled off from the rest of Rome, and the infamous Basilica di San Pietro lies within. It shares a 2-mile border with Italy and is about 5 times smaller than Monaco, or 1/8 the size of New York City's Central Park. Popes in the past have refused to leave the Vatican and also refused to recognize any authority from the Italian government since the 14th century. The colorful Swiss guards are the ones who have the important job of protecting the Pope, and the ones who have the Vatican City passports are the members of the clergy, the nuns, Swiss guards, and of course the Pope, totaling approximately 591 people.